Welcome to May 6th and the start of the very last maintenance vlog. I swear this is the last one. Uh, Took a couple days off from when I uploaded the video, about a day and a half. And I've been working on something that I haven't vlogged. My maps for this year's 2026 Haunted Tents display. First one I do is usually the tents. And we got the big 20 by 20, which houses our water room. And then we've got 4 smaller 10 by 10 tents on the grass area this year. Same as last year. This tent here is in a different position. Last year, I think we had more sandwiched down toward here. But we got more up in the middle of the yard this year. And then this year, these tents. This one here, we've had tents in that location before. This, however, is totally brand new. We ended up getting or selling our car that we had. And without it there, we can, our trailer, which usually sat behind the car, would sit right about here. Well, with the car not gone, it's going to be sitting up here, which gave us more room for the haunt. And we're utilizing it. But we got the tent placement done. And then I actually drew out the maze. And then I did this one next. Or this was the third map we did. But I'm showing it to you as a second. What this is, and all these dots here, are where all the partition walls, the wood frame walls that we did beginning of the build season, will be going in the haunt. And the dots mark out 2 foot and 1 foot locations on the map. I can actually go through here, count up all the spaces, and get my total. We're going to be using 239 partition walls out of 242. So I'm going to have 2 panels left over according to this, and that might change. And we'll have 31 1 foot panels. Like here, it's a 5 foot section. My big wall panels are 2 foot. I can go down to 4. I have to add a 1 foot right there to finish the 5 foot run out. Then another thing it lets me do is I can also figure out how many skim panels for each display I will need. You know, I have the decorative wall panels. Each display gets something different. It allows me to get a count. I don't want to go, like, say here, here's the chain hallway. Well, I'm going to start there, wipe it around, and do a zigzag in here with it. You know, and end up here with the chain hallway. Ain't going to work. I don't have that many skim panels. As it is with doing this here, see, what was it? Chain. We used 31 panels, and I have 40 total. You know, so I could have gone further, but didn't need to. This next display is the clown. But anyway, so we do that. I can figure out my walls and stuff that way with it. Now, this next one. This is the official maze for the 2026 season. And I letter all the displays. So like the front end is A. You see I have an A1 and an A2 there. That's because A1 is the hours sign. It hangs on that wall there. And A2 is a donation box, which sits right underneath of it. Get over here to B. We've got the entrance hall. And then we're going to be putting the witch in over here. We're doing something different. Normally they come in and go over this way and into the haunt. This year they're going to be going to the left. Now from here, all the way through here up to that point is graveyard. You know, so we've got the whole maze figured out. And once I get done doing that map, I know where each display is going to end. I'm going to put a squiggly in. There's one there and one there. That's the black curtains that we hang. So anyway, we got the mapping done and stuff. I was going to hold off and do the mapping at the end of this vlog. Or, later in the summer, maybe do a quickie vlog on it. But it's been driving me nuts. I've been wanting to do the map. Well, now I got the map done. So I don't have to worry about it anymore. But anyway, we got that done. Like I said, this is going to be the last maintenance vlog, and this opening is getting really long, and I apologize for that. But we've got several projects, 3 or 4 small ones, and some welding projects that we'll be doing. The first one is going to be Fred. When we were putting him away last year, he fell and broke his back. Now he's been repaired a couple of times, and I've always just put a wood dowel in, In fact, that's where the old brake was there. And I just put a wood dowel in. I'm going to see if I have any more of that diameter doweling out in the shop, a longer piece. And I might just take this piece out and put a longer piece in and put that on top of it. There's several other ways I could do it. But I got to get him out into the shop to get that fixed. And then once he's fixed, he can be put away. And it's going to take me about an hour, maybe 2. Longer if I decide to try to repaint that area, but I don't think I will. I don't know. It depends on how it ends up turning out. But we've got to see what's what with him out in the shop. Okay, I just got the top half and bottom half of Fred disassembled. This was the splice I made to join him originally when he broke. We're putting in a longer one. This part here, from the pencil line up to the tip, will actually go up inside the spine. The lower part in here will go down into here, and there'll be enough space to put this on here to cover it up. So now all I gotta do is get that piece first into there. Then I gotta put this piece on, and then we'll get the top on, and then we'll get all fastened up, and he'll be ready to go. Okay, we're in the house for the next project. Fred, I did earlier this morning, took the afternoon off, attended to some other things, and it's almost dinner time now, and I figured, well, I'm going to at least get started on the next project. That is the chimney to the fireplace that goes in the witch's display. I've got several repairs to do. First one, that thing is so damn heavy, and there's no real good way of holding on to it to carry it up the stairs and outside. We decided we're going to put a handle on it. 2 handles. One on this side, and one over there on that side. I got to get those on. Second, this part here is supposed to go there, just like that one. My problem I had was we were carrying this into the house, holding on to this, and it just let loose. I mean, there was just too much weight it let loose. Hence, one of the reasons why we're doing the handles. So I've got to do that. And then, let's see, it's over here on my workbench somewhere, and I'm not seeing it now. Oh, here it is. Skull. I need to get this reattached. All the wet weather that we had last year kind of got things affected, and it goes down right there in that hole. So I've got to get that on. Okay, it's the next day. We got the handles on. There's one on either side. That will make it a lot easier for carrying it. And then over here, we got the top piece replaced. It's a little rough. I'm not going to go through and sand that down. No one's ever going to see it. And we got the skull on down there. Now, I'm having a problem with the fireplace when it's all put together. You know, the whole thing's assembled, and it's with the lights. Because, in fact, here, let me go over here to the power station, throw that switch, and you can see all the lights turned on. We're going to thin that down. I'm having a problem when I assemble this in the haunt, just not the chimney, but all the pieces. And it's the wiring, the way I did the wiring on it. These bundles here. You know, there's a lot of LED wires and stuff coming into them. You know, so the bundles are big. It's basically 3 wires to a bundle. And if you add up all the bundles, it creates a lot of resistance with the electricity. So it takes a little bit more amperage to push power out to power this when it's all together. And because there are so many LEDs in the fireplace on all the pieces and stuff, yeah, when I try to hook this up to the lighting system, you know, like when I run the wiring out to power all the LED spots and stuff, it's drawing too much power and the lights don't want to work, and this won't come on at all. So I have to run a separate power line just to run the fireplace. I think what I'm going to do, and I've checked the build vlog, actually the reveal vlog I did for the fireplace, and all the lights on all the other pieces are just the border, you know, on the outside edge. You know, like I got the firebox wired up, you know, so it's just a row going around the box. And there's a row of lights running along the edge of the mantle. This, though, has that huge field of lights. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to rip all the wiring out in the back, except for the wiring coming from the LEDs themselves. And when I rewire it, I am just going to do the outside rim and border and leave this field off. So there's no lights showing on those. And that will cut down on the resistance a bit. It is going to take a bit of time. Ripping out all the wiring, quick and easy. Having to go back to and resolder all my connections. So what lights I have come on is going to take a while. So we will, you know, mess around with it and see where we can get. Took a couple of days. This chimney is a bitch to work on, but we got it done. Just the outside edge. Everything's working except for one light right here. Where is it? No, I gotta find it again. Oh, yeah, that one right there. And it's not the wiring, it's the LED. With snipping all the wires and what tugging, I damaged that LED. So the LED needs to be replaced, which means rewiring just that one LED in. I've got plenty of wire in the back to allow me to do that. I'm not going to do it. One LED being out isn't going to kill it. You know, if I get tons of comments about it, the next season I'll come in and fix it. But for right now, I think it's good enough to go. As to what the back looks like, you can see the loose wirings that are not connected to anything. That's the feel. It's just the outside edge I did all the way around. And the connection that isn't working is right there in that area. Oh, got someone else we need to get on the vlog. Kaylee. There's a KK on the vlog, and look at that tail wiggle. She's wiggling a hello to y'all. But, it was either, I think it was in the build vlog for the fireplace, down toward the end when I was getting all the original wiring done. I mentioned about possibly redoing it. I really didn't like the look of it. And then when we got it in the haunt, during setup, I started wiring up, and I had trouble with getting it to turn on. I had tied into the regular lights. They were just too big of a draw. I mentioned again about rewiring the fireplace. Well, removing the lights from the chimney will help a lot. Rewiring it the way I did will really help it a lot. I think I am going to say to hell with it, and I'm going to drag out every piece of that fireplace. I've got the two pilasters. That's the pillars that go down on either side of the firebox. The lintel that goes across the top of the firebox, plus the mantle. All have lights on. I think I'm going to bring each part over here one at a time, and I'm just going to rewire it. Hell, I've got the time this year. I'm not really crunched for time or anything. At least not yet. If I hit August 1st and I still have 4 or 5 things I need to do, then I'm going to feel crunched for time. Let's see. I don't know how much of the vlogging I am going to be doing with the rest of the pieces of the fireplace. Because unlike with the chimney here, there really isn't going to be any change other than to the wiring itself on the back of all the skulls. With the chimney here, every skull on here lit up when I originally started, and now it's just the outside edges. I think that's exactly pretty much what all the other stuff is. It's just a row of lights going down. No major changes. So it's probably going to take me a week, maybe 2, depending on how fast it goes. It might take a couple of days. I don't know. Hey, prop update. It's been about a week. We've gotten quite a ways on the fireplace. We just got the mantle done. All the lights are working. We got all the lights on both the pilasters, that piece and this piece, and the lintel are working. 100% working. Every light comes on. I ended up having to replace 5 lights between those 4 pieces. The chimney, on the other hand, which was the first piece I did, we got it all rewired, and I had 1 light. It didn't work. I was just thinking, okay, what the hell? I'll just go with that. I'm not going to worry about it. When I got in the other pieces, they had burned out light or 2. I said the hell with it and replace the lights on those parts. So those parts I can now get put away. The chimney, on the other hand, I've got 1 more light to do on it to replace. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done, and I can put the chimney away, and this project's done, and we can start on the next project, which is going to be this table, my workbench, which is also the table in the Gypsy. And once I get done with the fireplace and what have you, and we get this to where I can work on it, I'll go over what we're going to need to do with that. Well, the fireplace is now 100% done and put away. The problem with the chimney was not a burned out light. I missed a wire when I was connecting it up. So I just got that wire connected, light came on, done. On to the next project for this maintenance series. And this is the table that goes in the Gypsy. And I have a sliding platter attaches here and slides back and forth. It has a T-surface on it. And over there you see the hole in the table. That's where the cups went that bounce up and down. We had a goof last year. With all the health problems we had with Sue and hospital runs and everything else, I was in a fairly big rush trying to get the haunt done in time. As a result, I screwed up on this table to get the air piston, and it's a pneumatic prop, the platter is, but to get the air cylinder on, plus the linkage for the trays, I have to do it when this thing is leaned up against something. They were not designed to be put on with the table in this configuration. I didn't even think about it. Popped the table on it. I went and did worked on something else for a little while. Came back and attached the cylinder, attached the linkage in this configuration. And I did both kind of at the wrong way. And I ended up instead of having the platter bounce up and down, it was bouncing up and to the side, which caused, as you can see, some wear on the table. Also, the platter broke. So we've got a new platter we're going to do, and we'll be working on that in one of the other projects in this vlog. But, I was looking at the way I had the cylinder mounted in here. And I'm going to do a fix so I don't ever have that problem again. And I'll go into my fix once we get the tabletop off. But anyway, I've got both the cups and the platter mechanisms I need to work on. So I've got a fix on the platter because we've been having trouble with that too. But then I'm going to bring my sander in, and because of the damage on the cups here going down to bare wood, I'm going to resand the whole table, or whole tabletop, and then we're going to restain it again too. So it's good to go for another season. Now, hold on. Let me get the tabletop off, and we'll get into another segment on what we're going to be doing to this beast. Okay, now that's to the table and the repairs I'm going to do to it. This is the pneumatic cylinder that runs the cups. What I had been doing, and that's the bottom side of the hole, is I have been mounting this about a 1/4 inch off the surface of the table with 2 screws and some washers. And I didn't have the washers set right or something, from doing this upside down last year. And it was allowing the cylinder to rock every time it fired up, with the weight of the cups on it, was causing it to rock. So what I'm going to do is I got my measurements and stuff that I need for the thickness of the wood, but I'm going to take a wood block, and I'm actually going to glue on a wood block here with some Gorilla Glue, let it dry, then I can re-drill my hole through that piece of wood that this will sit flush to, so that it won't wiggle. Real easy, really straightforward fix. Now over here, let's get me down here so I'm not bending. Bending hurts today. This is a drawer slide that I've attached up. Normally I have 2 bolts that stick through here and here through the surface of the table that the platter sits on. And as this thing moves forward and back, it actually causes the tray to move forward and back with it. This part is working fine. It needs a little bit of oil. It's got a lot of foam dust and stuff in it. But I'll do that when I put it out in the haunt. The problem I'm having is with the motor. I've had to, the first 2 years we had it, I had these straps cinched down enough to where it was pinching the motor into place, so the motor would not move. I've had to repair this drawer slide once, which caused me to have to take the motor off. When I put it back on, it is now, every time the drawer slide goes out, the motor is rocking this way. And then when it goes back in, the motor rocks that way a little bit. and it's causing things to bind up. So, like with the cups, but anyway, I am going to put, just like I did with the cup, I'm going to be doing with the cups, I'm going to put several blocks of wood in here, glue them into place with Gorilla Glue, and then restrap these down so the motor stays into place and does not rock. Now, something else I've been thinking about doing too is this here. This is the linkage for the whole thing. And that short piece fits on the motor, and the long piece fits over here on that. And that's what causes the drawer slide to slide in and out. Now this little flat piece here, it's just fine. It's this other doohickey I made. I think I am going to redesign it. It's going to still be the same shape, but I am going to lengthen this part down here so I only have to put 1 or 2 washers in instead of a stack. And then over here on this, I think I'm going to lengthen the longer shaft as well so I don't have to use as many staples. Or not staples, but washers on it. So I might rework that, provided I have enough metal in the shop to do that with. If not, I'll just reuse this. And we'll go from there. But those are the fixes I need to do. Now, the cups that attach to the pneumatic that go on that hole sits on a platter. And then the cups are permanently mounted to the platter. Last year, the platter actually failed. It was fine when it was going up and down. But last year, since it was going off at an angle, it was tweaking the metal of the tray, and the tray failed. It actually mushroomed out, and the platter came loose from the pneumatic. So the last couple of days we were open, all you saw was the shaft sticking up, popping up and down. So I've got to get that tray fixed. I've got some welding that I'm going to be doing as part of this vlog after I get the work on the table done. I'll go over that. I'll fix that platter then. You'll get see that. You remember right, segment, we were working on the table. Now I got my blocks of wood. The motor is sitting right here on the edge. But I got my blocks of wood in, got the motor reinstalled, the motor is working. Have not done anything with the linkage on here. The linkage is going to have to wait until a later date. You know, I'll probably just end up going with the linkage I've got. Now, over here, let's see. Yeah, there it is. There's the cylinder. I got the cylinder mounted. It went in really good, but I ran into a problem. The shaft on the cylinder is slightly bent. Not overly much, but the bracket is. I need to take the bracket out and off the cylinder. Put my vice grip and flatten it back out so it's flat and level, because it's got a slight twist too, so it's causing things to lean. But I'm going to wait until after I get the platter done, and then we'll try it with the platter and see what happens. But we got that mounted. It's good to go. For right now, I am going to leave the cylinder on the table until I get the platter done. Our next step is I've got to go through and sand down the tabletop, and then we're going to restain it. And then I can move it off to the side, let it dry, and put more of my cardboard over the top of it to protect it. Because I'll probably be using the table a couple of more times between now and when we go to set up. But for right now, I've got a mess down here. Back here, we'll go back over this. I'll show you the mess. We got stuff all over the place. I need to clean this mess up, get things put away. You know, a lot of this stuff goes back out into the shop, so I'll get it put away. And then we'll bring, excuse me, furball. But get everything put away, and I will bring in my sander and other stuff I'm going to need to get the table sanded down, and then go from there. So, almost done with this project. Oh, hey, staining is done. Now it needs to dry. I'm as far as I can go in here for the moment. We're going to get all our supplies from staining and sanding and stuff back out to the shop. I'm going to grab some lunch, and then we might head out to the shop and get started on the next round of projects. As you can tell from my backdrop, we're out in the Dragon Slayer workshop, the main one. And, you missed it. We had a Kaylee. She's been in her pool. Projects out here. And I've got 3 or 4 different ones. I'm probably just going to buzz right through them. The first one we're going to work on, actually this is going to be the second one, is this here. These are the feet I used on my driveway. The pipe holds a 2x2 post that we do for fencing. I had a couple where my original welds broke. So I've got to get cleaned up. I'm going to re-weld them, do it more correctly. I've got the base and motor for the obelisk for the pet cemetery. That needs some welding. And there we got Kaylee with her dyno. And then we've got this over here. This is the platter that goes to the table downstairs. It bounces up and down. And let's see, you can see there, right where the screw hole is, right in here, it's all wonked up and stuff. So we are going to toss that. And we bought a new one. I've got to drill a hole in it. And on the back side, I don't know if it will work or not. I'm not sure what these things are made out of other than some sort of metal. But I'm going to try welding a, either weld a steel bracket on to the bottom of it, so the pneumatic will have that to brace against and it will support the lid a little bit more, or just taking a piece of metal and drilling a hole on either end and bolting the metal on. You know, that way the platter has some support. I haven't decided yet. I gotta mess around with it a little bit, but we've got a new tray to replace that tray. So we've got that to work on. Now, what did you want, Katie, sitting down here butting me? Sorry about that. My first project is in here. This is my storage locker, and it is a freaking disaster area at the moment. And my welding table is back there underneath that foam. So I'm going to take some time out, probably the rest of the day. I'm going to pull shit out of here, and we are going to get this area cleaned up. And that includes that white and blue barrel clear back there with all the metal pipes sticking out of it. That's my catch-all for metal. You know, anytime I get anything, you know, if I'm working on a project or whatever and I have a chunk of metal left, I'll keep it in case I need it for a future project. And I just drop it into the barrel. There's stuff in there from props I built years ago that we don't even have anymore. So when I'm cleaning up the locker, I'm going to pull that out, pull everything out to actually see what's in there, because I don't know exactly what's in there. And we'll get it cleaned up too. One project done. Got the storage locker cleaned up. Threw out a bunch of stuff. It's just like, wow, I can't believe I sold, you know, I kept all this. But we can actually get into the back of the storage locker now. And while I was cleaning it out, I found these in here. This was part of the base to Morgan's old tombstone. I saved it because I want the metal shafts off of here. I was gonna, cut it off, clean them up, and then reuse them in another project that we'll be working on later. And then we also had that in there. I had forgotten about that. That's the base to the mech for the box clown. And I'm going to need to remake it. I had a boo-boo with a repair, what was it, last year or the year before? And the weld had broke on this middle piece. And I welded it back on up here, about 3 or 4 inches further forward. And when the head popped out of the box, it was hitting the box. It wouldn't come all the way up. So I ended up having to chop it, move it back a couple of inches, and, re-weld it back on. And like you see over here, I had to patch weld it there to get it to work. It was something I did while we had the haunt set up. So I was in a rush. I just did a patch weld on it, and it worked for last year. Well, I am going to scrap that and make up a totally brand new one, I think. And heaven knows, I got the metal for it down there. So that's going to be one of the projects that we're going to be doing as well. All right, just getting done with lunch. We started out here in the shop working on those, and I got those put back together. My welds look a hell of a lot better than the original ones. The second thing I was working on was this here. This is the motor and base for the obelisk. That's the tombstone. They had the dog on top that turned. The part that broke on it was this here. This rectangular piece here came loose from this piece. And what I had originally done is there was 4 holes in this, and 2 of them I just tack weld this onto that metal plate. But this piece I did right before lunch, and it was so hot from the grinding and the welding, I needed to let it cool down. But it fits on the motor like that, and then there's a nut that goes in there that attaches it. And then as the motor turns, this turns, which drives the rest of the mechanism to turn the obelisk. So for right now, I need to see if I can get this reattached. Now if I did this right, you can see there's a hole in there. There should be just enough room for me to get the nut on there and then put a socket on there and tighten it down. I'm hoping. But that's what I'm getting ready to do next. Those are the 2 things we've been working on today. Okay, there we go. Mechanism totally repaired. There's a foam box piece that fits over the base here. And then the obelisk sits on here and goes up, and then the dog attaches up top. So that is fixed and ready to go and can be put down here with ease. Okay, platters are done. Now when I started that project, I did a test. I cut a chunk of the steel that I was going to use and tried. I was curious to see if I could tack weld it on, and that is rather sloppy. But I couldn't. The welding attempt just burned right through the tray. So welding it was out. And this is the old tray. It's garbage anyway, so ruining it by doing the tack welding doesn't matter. So what I ended up doing on the bottom of this, turn it upside down, I just took a steel plate and drilled a screw, or drilled a hole, put a screw and a bolt, or a bolt and a nut on each end of it to hold it. And then I attached all 4 cups the same way, which is how I did it on the original tray. Then here in the center is where the pneumatic cylinder attaches. Now the only thing I've got left to do is I've got to take this into the house and try attaching it to the cylinder. What I'm worrying about on it up here is a set screw that I use to attach it to the pneumatic cylinder. Now that I've got that little steel plate on the bottom of it, that set screw might not be long enough. If it isn't, I have to go up to the hardware store and buy the same screw, but just a tad longer, so it will work with that. So I'm not sure. Don't remember how long that damn screw is. But we can do that. I'm going to do that in the morning. I think I am done out here for today. But not too bad. We got 3 projects done. We got the cups, the motor for the obelisk, got it fixed, and the 2 new feet. So we are working good. Now tomorrow, like I said, I am going to do, check that platter out. Make sure it fits. That won't take long. It's a couple of second job. Then we're going to get over here to the base for the box clown, and we're going to totally remake it, getting this stand here in the right spot. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to back it up another inch or 2 this way. Well, I can use this one as a pattern to get all my measurements. So, and we will just go from there. And that's going to be an all-day project, more than likely. At least for me. And with that, we're done. Just got the base for the new base for the box clown done. There's the old one. And there's the new one. And I will say my welding is getting better. It's still not, to where I could go out and become a welder and work as a welder. But it is getting better. Now this one, the new one, is about a ½ inch shorter this way, which is fine. And the centerpiece here, in fact you can see there's the old one, and it's a couple inches further back. That will pull the head that sticks out to about here further back in, which is good, which means it will clear the lip of the box and give me more room for the lights. So that one is effectively garbage. This one, at some point, I'm saying some point, because I don't have any spray paint now, needs to be painted with paint that sticks to metal to help protect it from rusting. And at some point, I will do that. Other than that, I've got that stuff there to put away and a mess, a hell of a mess, to get cleaned up. Plus, I got the floor desperately needs to be swept. So I've got to get everything put away. I'm going to get everything cleaned up. I'm even going to blow off the tabletops. And with that, the maintenance projects are done. There will be no more maintenance vlogs. Altogether, I think there's 5, or this will be, I think, the 6th maintenance vlog. Through the course of all 6, we've worked on 35 different projects. Along with the partition panels, which was the first vlog, and then I did the foam carving on the pirate wall panels, plus the 35. We've done 37 projects altogether. Not very detailed on the maintenance stuff, didn't need to be. I only do detailed, vlogs when I'm building something new. But effectively, this was supposed to be the last vlog from me, due to money and everything else, and our health and everything else. Before we got into doing the first video for hunt setup, which is hunt prep, which won't be uploaded until August 30th. Hell, we won't even be doing it until like the 22nd of August. So technically, I should have now until about the 22nd of August off with nothing to do. Had some friends stop by, and they donated some hunt supplies to me. In fact, they had contacted me over social media, and they know what's going on here. They know I'm having a hard time, and they or ask me, you know, is there anything that we can do to help? You know, we don't want to donate cash, we want to donate supplies, you know. And I said, well, I've got 3 projects I want to do, but I can't do it because I don't have money. And one of them, to me and Sue, is very important. And you'll find out what that is when I get to it. But one of the guys came in the middle there. It used to be 4 sticks. I used 1 on that. They donated the middle. I had someone else donate some other stuff. I've got enough to do 3 new props. So what I am going to do between now and around August 22nd when we start shooting hunt prep, I'm going to do 3 separate vlogs. Each one of them is going to be a standalone vlog. In other words, you're going to get one thing in that vlog, and that's it. And that will be whatever prop I am working on. So we will have those. I don't know when the first one's going to be up. The first one I'm doing is the most important one I've got. And you'll find out what that is in the next vlog, which won't be up for probably a couple of weeks. It's going to be semi-involved, I think. It's going to how elaborate I get, and I tend to get fairly elaborate at times. But with that, you know, if you guys want to help out, and we desperately need the help, you know, this year and probably next year. On my Haunted Tents page, hell, in the intro to these vlogs, I've got a web address for GoFundMe. Again, you know, drop a couple of bucks in there. Every little bit helps, and 100% of all money raised through that GoFundMe will be going directly to the haunt. You know, help buy supplies, do maintenance, you know, pay whatever miscellaneous bills come up, you know, like the electrical bill, you know, so it will go directly to the haunt. And we could use your help. You know, we are a free haunted house. We survive on donations. And donations last year were good. This year, who knows? But hit the GoFundMe if you want to help Ram and the set dresser Sue out. Okay, and I should be saying that at the end of each vlog, you know, donate to the GoFundMe. I think it's the first time I've done it since I originally posted it, which was months ago. So it's not like I'm harping on it. But anyway, with that, I'm going to get cleaned up here in the next day or 2. Hold on 1 second. I want to check something. I wanted to check the date. It's May 17th. So probably by May 20th, maybe a little sooner, we'll get started on the next project, and it'll be probably sometime in June is when it will be up. Maybe the 1st of June. I don't know. It depends on how long this project goes. Itch. But anyway, guys, I'm done. I've rambled. Stay spooky. Stay toxic.